Why did this spread?
Did I get a drink poison?
Go. Guys, the whole point of passing period is so that you're not late to class because you have stuff you got to do. Now, I don't care if you're late in passing period. For instance, she had to use the bathroom. She walked in, set her stuff down, went and used the bathroom. I'd rather you be 1 minute late to class because you went and used the bathroom during passing period than wait till the bell rings and be 5 minutes late, right? That's the concept.
Obviously, right?
How dare you have that expectation?
I know.
Shame on you as a teacher, don't you know?
Yep.
No one's talking to you.
I just do what I want. I don't care what they
Ask me
say.
if I care what you have to say.
I don't care what you
I'll
got
tell
to
you
say
now
either.
for you, Matt.
Shut your
Don't
mouth.
you-
There's no way you could do that. I've seen him.
Easily
There's
take
no
this
way.
down.
So all my expectation is not don't be late. It's just use as little amount of time as possible,
Those
which
you ever
means
take
starting before the bell rings.
I got a question.
What?
Have I been late to this class besides me not being?
No,
I'm gonna
you're
check.
good. Let's take a look at 12. So remember, we're proving similar triangles, right? We've got double A, SAS, and triple S. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
These are just chilling.
Thank you. All right, so we've got an angle that's congruent, right? We've got some sides that we got to check. So we got to check to see if these sides are proportional. And the way we're going to do that, we're just going to write out what's the smallest side on the smallest triangle? 9, right? And we're going to compare that to the smallest side on the largest triangle. What's the smallest side over here? 27. And the question is, will that be equal to biggest side over biggest side, which is 10 over 30, right? And if they are, then we have proportional sides. So that's our question. We're going to see if that's true. Getting new pens tomorrow. They're coming in the mail. And a lot of black pens, which you guys aren't allowed to have. What?
You don't just like go to Target?
No, I've got a special deal. I know a guy.
Max gotta do it.
That's right. My boy McCartney's hooking me up with pens. All right. Not those kind.
Gang.
All right, so the question is, are these equal, right? Well, let's simplify them down. Which one do you think is going to be easier to simplify?
And,
10 over 30. What's that?
3.
1 over 3, right?
Oh.
Relationship is times 3, right? Yeah. 1 to 3.
So that does
So
not-
if they're equal, there should be some way to make that 9 into a 1. What do I have to do to the 9 to make it a 1? Divide by 9, right? Okay. Now when I divide 27 by 9, do I get 3?
Actually, you do.
You do, right? So checks out. Now, if you're not sure about that, you can just reduce them, right? Divide 9 by 3, you get 3. Divide 27 by 3, you get 9, right? Keep reducing. If the fractions are the same, then they're proportional. So we have two proportional sides and an angle in between them. So by side, angle, side similarity, very similar to congruency, right? These triangles will be similar. So TUV is going to be similar to this triangle. Let's match up the letters. We've got triangle. T should go with C, right? Because they have the same angle. Now let's look at U. U is made up of the biggest side and the side we don't know, right? Biggest side and side we don't know. So look over here. What's our biggest side and side we don't know? What angle does that make up?
CD.
Angle CDE, right? That's our biggest side, CD, right? And there's our unknown side. So we're talking about angle D. So D is going to go with U. V is made up of the smaller side and the unknown side, right? So if I go to smaller side and unknown, what angle must that be? Angle E, right? Yep, E. If you want to use the three-letter name, it's CED, right? But E, vertex E. So they go together like that.
I got a question.
Yeah.
What are the SASs, that little squiggly line?
So that's what proves that they're similar. They have two proportional sides, right? We proved that. And an angle in between. So by SAS, similarity. We can prove things similar by using double angle, right? If they have two congruent angles. Or by SAS, similarity. Or if all three sides are proportional, right? If we have all three sides all being the same fraction. Okay? That's it. That's it. So, quick review. And then we'll go on. So to add on to McCartney's question, if we've got two triangles, the way I drew them, are they congruent? No way, right? the way I drew them.
But they could be similar.
Right? Now, if I put these numbers down, I think you'll agree. Definitely not congruent, right? Because they have to have all three sides the same to be congruent, yeah? Mhm. Yes, of course.
No, but they're similar.
So, but they are similar. And the reason for that is because 3 over 6 does equal 4 over 8, does equal 5 over 10. Now, sometimes you got to be creative in figuring out which ones to match up with. But the trick is you go smallest side over here with smallest side over here, right? And medium with medium and large with large. And if this is true, which it is, they all are half, right? Then they're similar, they're proportional. What's the relationship? Times 2 or a half, depending which way you go, right? That's how we check for similar sides. Now we know that similar triangles can have different sides, right? 3 is not the same as 6, right? That's okay. They just have to be related the same way as all the other sides. But they do have congruent angles. So whatever angle is there must be the same. And whatever angle is here must be the same. And whatever angle is here must be the same. Similar triangles always have congruent angles. Always, always, always. So on number 12, we know they're similar, right? So if I wanted to, I could tell you which angles go together, right? Angle T goes with C. Angle U goes with angle D. And angle V goes with angle E. Must be. Now, I don't know what these two sides are, right? But I know whatever they are, their relationship's going to be 1 versus 3, right? So if this side were 1, this side would be 3. Since we know these other two sides relate by a third, right? That's a third of 29, or 27. That's a third of 30, right? If I told you this was, let's go 7, what would this side have to be then? Look at the relationship. We said the relationship for the other two is a third. We proved they're similar, so all the sides should have that same relationship. 9 goes to 27. 10 goes to 30. What's 7 going to go to?
14.
Nope, that's double, right? Is 9 double of 27?
Are we tripling it?
We are, aren't we? Right? There's two ways to look at this relationship. It's a third, right? A third of 27 is 9, right? Or you could flip that, right? And go the other way. 9 times 3 is 27, right? So 7 times 3 is going to get me 21.
10 plus 9.
So this side must be 21, right? If we know they're similar and we know the relationship of two of the sides, we know the relationship for the last side, right? All right, cool. Let's turn the page. This is going to help us as we find the missing length. So it tells us here that the triangles are similar. We know that this 35 is the same as this 35 degrees, right? They go together. So it looks like if they're similar, J should go with P, right? Now, we're going to write the similarity statement. I'm going to give that to you. Triangle JKL is similar to triangle. Let's match these up. Looks like J should definitely go with P. I'm going to tell you that K goes with Q. And that R goes with L, just like it looks. Now, normally we're not allowed to just look and match them up, right? We have to know for sure. But I'm going to give that to you, okay? So we know this. We know it's similar. What we need to find is that missing value, right? So if they're similar, their sides should be in proportion, right? They should have a relationship. If you're in art class at all, right? Mr. Wright coming in here earlier was kind of perfect. The proportion should be the same. So LJ should go with RP, this side, right? So 28 over 42 should equal this question mark. I'm going to call that X over 33. Right? They should have the same relationship. 28 and 42 should have the same relationship as whatever this guy is in 33. The question is, what is that number? So we show relationship by division, right? It's a good guess. How do we solve a problem like Maria? Yeah.
Divide 42 by 28, and then whatever that answer is, you multiply by, or no, then you divide by 3.
Yep, you multiply by 33. You got that right. Yep. So you divide 28 by 42, right, and then multiply by 33. You can do that in your calculator that way. That's solving it algebraically, right, getting x on its own, right? Another way we can solve this is we can just reduce this side down and then figure out from there. So, yeah, we could do 28 divided by 42 and then times by 33, but that's probably going to require a calculator. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify this fraction. Let's make it simpler. What's 28 divided by 42? How can we simplify that? 14 over...
Oh, wait. No, I meant
Yep, we
12.
divided the top by 2. That's fine. Divided the top by 2. We got to divide the bottom by 2. What's that? Well, 40 divided by 2 is 20. So it's going to be 21, right?
We can do 7.
We can keep going. Divide by 7 and we get
2 over
2 over 3. Okay, so I'm going to simplify my problems first. That's why we call it simplifying. And then we can use Corinne's method, right? I'm going to multiply 33 over. Okay. So what I get is 33 times 2/3 equals x. And I can do that in my head. If you know that when you multiply by fractions, you multiply in the top and divide in the bottom, right? So what do you want to do first? You want to do 33 times 2 first or divide by 3 first?
Divide by
When you can divide, it's almost always better to do that first because then it makes smaller numbers, right, when you divide? And smaller numbers are easier to work with. What's 33 divided by 3? 11. Now we get a times by the top and we get what? 11 times 2. 22. Which, if you're using the answer key like I am, that's the answer, right? So that segment right there must be 22. Now, you could have moved over the 33 right at the beginning and done a lot of math, right? But you'd have to figure out what that is. I like this one better. Much smaller numbers, easier to work with, right? Let's practice again on the next one. So I'm going to tell you that triangle, let's do a TUV. Can you say that again, Ms. Bechtel?
MLK.
Thank you. Martin Luther King.
That's so good.
So I'm going to give you that, right? Pretend I gave you that. So now which sides must go with which sides? Well, 60 UV is in the second and third spot, right? So UV must go with LK. So 60, what's LK on this diagram? What number?
1/3.
130. So 60 and 130 go together, right? UV, LK, same spot, so they go together. And their relationship should be the same as the relationship between UT, which we don't know, and let's look, UT, LM, 117, right? Now, Corinne's right. We're going to eventually multiply by 117, moved over, right? But let's simplify things first before things get too crazy. We can simplify this, yeah?
Is it 60 times 117?
Say it again.
Will it be 60 times 117?
Yeah, and then divide by 130, yeah,
Okay.
right? Now, I'm going to make that a lot easier to do in my head by simplifying this fraction first, right? I can pull out a 10 from both of these, right? Right? I get 6 over 13. Are you with me on that? Cool. So now I'm going to multiply 117 over. We times it by 6 and divide by 13. Now, ideally, we'd like to be able to divide by 13, right, to make a smaller number. So the question is, does 13 go into 117? Let's try and figure that out. Does it go in at 10 times? No, because I get 130, right? 130 is too big. So 10 times 13, I'm just doing some mental math, is 130. So what would 9 times 13 be? 13 less, right? Let's take away 13 from 130. What's 130 minus 10?
120.
Now take away 3 more.
117.
Ah. So 9 times 13 is 117. I didn't know that off the top of my head. I just went with 130 and tried to get to this. If it didn't go into 117, man, that sucks. But it does, right? It goes in 9 times. So 117 divided by 13 is going to be 9, right? So that's going to be 9 times 6 equals x. I did division first, right? I divided in the bottom. Everybody cool with that? Dividing in the bottom, right? I get 9. Now I multiply by the top. What's 9 times 6? If you know 10 times 6, that's 60, right? One less group of 6. So 60 minus 6. 54, right? So we know that the number we're missing right here is 54. Another way to write that is UT equals 54. If it's got a question mark, I'll allow you to write X. That's fine. We're solving for X. How do you feel about that? Simplify the fractions to make your job easier, right? Then multiply it over. I'm going to scooch down just a little bit. And I'm going to write 15 on a separate sheet of paper. So while you're catching up, I'll write out 15. Alrighty, so this is 15. And I'm going to give you that triangle. Let's do the little guy first. UBC is similar to triangle UST. Okay? That's going to be given to you, right? That's going to help you match up with what. So we want to know how big this segment is right here. Now notice, is that segment part of a triangle? Like, is that a side of a triangle? No, it's a side of this guy. Is that a triangle? No. So we're going to need to figure out what this is, right? Because that's a side of a triangle. And then once we know what this is, we can subtract it from 12 and we get what's left over. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's figure out how these match up. So 6 on the small triangle is CU, right? See that's first and third? It should go with UT. So CU should go with UT. How long is CU? How long is CU? 6, right? CU, UT, right? They're first and third, right? So 6 on the small triangle should go with UT on the big triangle. How long is UT? Be careful.
25.
It's 24, right? The whole thing is 24, right? So 6 and 24 should have the same relationship as, well, we want to figure out this side, right? Because if we know that side, we can subtract it from 12 and we get what we want. So UB, well, UB is first and second, right? Should go with US. Well, that's good. UB goes with US. So the thing we don't know, we'll call that X, right? Oops, we'll call this X, right? Goes with US, 12. Does everybody see where I got those from? Small side of the small triangle, bigger side. This side goes with that. And the reason I want to figure this out is so I can do 12 minus whatever that is and get my answer, right? Does everybody see how this piece right here isn't part of a triangle? So I got to get creative, right? I'm going to figure that guy out. Subtract it from 12 and get this. So the relationship between 6 and 24 should be the same as this guy and 12. Well, let's reduce. 6 over 24. Let's reduce it. What do I get? What can I divide the top and the bottom by? 6. I get 1. What's 24 divided by 6? 4. 6 is a quarter of 24. That makes sense. So you can answer this question one of two ways. You can answer, what's a quarter of 12? What is a quarter of 12? It's 3, right? Or you can move the 12 over, right? And it asks the same question that we just asked. Quarter of 12, right? What is a quarter of 12? Well, we times by the top and get 12 and divide by 4. What's 12 divided by 4? 3. So this guy right here is 3. everybody cool with how I did that? Yeah. So if that's 3, how are we going to figure out our question mark? How are we going to figure out what BS equals? Haha. What do we do now? Hmm? Well, if this much is 3, and the whole thing's 12, how much is left over? Right? 12 minus 3 is 9. What? No, it's okay. Minus half. So it must be 9, right? Now, hopefully I did it right. Let's look. 9. Did it. Ready for 16? Same dumb crap. Guys, we got a super quiz this week, so make sure you're paying lots of attention, bringing your A game.
Won't be here, Mac.
That's even worse, because now you're going to have to take a quiz over 2 weeks of material that you won't have, taken, learned immediately after, right? Or immediately before. That's a very good idea.
Do I get self-development points?
Of course.
I'm
Remember,
going to home with all the guys now. Or-
you have to actually get help.
Oh.
Can't just show up. All right, I copied 16 down. So here's 16. Now, we want to know what this is. Is PW a side of a triangle? Yeah, so we can just go get it like normal, right? So let's compare small triangle to bigger triangle. It looks like, well, let me match these up for you. We've got triangle PVW, similar to triangle PQR. That'll be given to you on the quiz. Okay. So PV on this triangle, right? PV, what's it going to go with on the other triangle? PV must go with what? Yeah, it's first and second, first and second. So PV's 9. And PQ is how long? 18, right? The whole thing is 18, right? That's cool. And we want to know how much PW is, right? Well, what does PW go with on the other triangle? PW is first and third. It's going to go with PR, right? Which is 22. So what we don't know, over 22. Now, if you're clever, you'll realize what this is saying. What's the relationship between 9 and 18? 1 over 2, right? So what's half of 22? 11. So the answer should be 11. Now let's prove it. Let's reduce 9 over 18. That's a half, right? Everybody see how I got there? Simplify and multiply. And so it's asking the question I just asked you earlier. What's half of 22, right? It's 11. I think the hard part of these is matching up your letters, okay? Don't just look at the triangle. They'll give you something like this. PV goes with PQ because they're both first and second, okay? So this guy goes with this guy, so I can figure out their relationship, right? And I can use that relationship to figure out their relationship. Need it, or are you good? Okay. Same dumb crap. Just now we've got expressions, right? A little bit more crazy expression down here. So these two triangles are similar. I'll tell you what goes with what. Let's do triangle SRT. Thank you very much. I think the pattern here is that they're alphabetical. Does that make sense? So if you do RST, which is alphabetical, it should go with
Not in
BCD.
18, they're not.
Is it not? Oh my gosh. Gross. So that'll be given to you. Thank you, Ms. Bechtel. She did some scouting ahead of time, which is what I should be doing. But we talked about this last week of how this was silly.
All the other 18 and 19 are alphabetical.
Oh, bummer. I was really hoping.
And 20 is not alphabetical.
I'm a liar. So these two triangles are similar. So 70 on this triangle is ST, right? What does ST go with?
CD.
Goes with CD, which is 50. So their relationship should be the same as 11x minus 4. That's SR, right? And SR is going to go with what? CB.
Question, where did the 50 come
See how ST goes with CD?
from? Yeah, I forgot there's two triangles.
Yep, that's cool. That's cool. Yep. So now we solve, right? Let's simplify. That's 7 over 5. And I'm going to multiply by 60, right? And that'll leave me this nonsense. Does everybody see how I got there? I went pretty quick. 70 over 50 is the same thing, 7 over 5. I just simplified. Now, we can divide 60 by 5. If that was 50, what's 50 divided by 5? So what's 60 divided by 5? 2 more 5s, right? 12. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to be wrong. It's really okay. I want you taking those risks.
Could have just looked at that clock up there.
That's also true, right? 60 divided by 12, 5 minutes, right? For every number up there. 50 divided by 5 is 10. 60 is 2 more 5s, right? So it's going to be 12. Now we do 12 times 7. Let's do that in our heads. 7 times 10 is 70, right? What's 7 times 2?
14.
What's 70 plus 14? 84, yeah. You look like a genius for saying that, but if you break it down, it's really not that bad, right? You know 7 times 10, right? Add 2 more 7s onto that. I'm going to add 4 over and get 88. And I bet you can tell me what 88 divided by 11 is. Ocho. So x is 8. Now we are not done because we want to find out what SR equals, right? So what do?
You plug it in.
Yeah. Now what's 8 times 11?
88.
Minus 4 is?
That's 76.
84. 88 minus 4. 84, right? Now if you noticed, didn't I already have that answer here? We didn't have to do that last bit because we know SR is the same thing as 11x minus 4, right? So once you know what 11x minus 4 equals, you win.
Except it said solve for x.
Oh, does it say solve for x?
Yeah.
Directions are dumb.
I agree too, man.
So SR is 84. X is 8. Bonus points to me. Try 18 on your own. Before we start, Ms. Bechtel, would you give us the similarity statement? Triangle.
ABC
Uh-huh.
is similar to triangle FED.
FED?
Yes.
I bet.
Are you gonna count it wrong, like if we don't put it in ABC order?
No, for these, this will be given to you, right? When what we were doing earlier, where you had to write it, right? You need to make sure you match up your letters accordingly. Now, we're giving you the match. That way you can actually do the problem.
Okay.
Okay? But yeah, we'll take off on the stuff we were doing earlier if you don't have the
Yeah.
letters in right order,
Yeah.
right? It won't always be alphabetical. Good question.
Did you get my quiz?
Yes, so I have it graded. I just don't have it in the grade book yet. So grades will be plugged in the ninth. The reason I do that is because of eligibility stuff. People get really pissed when I do grades over the weekend, so I wait a day.
I see.
Which is unfortunate to people like you that are like, come on, man.
Right.
Brandon don't know how to play.
But people get more mad when I plug in grades and their grade goes down, right, than they do when I plug in grades when they go up. And so you hear complaints from those guys. Now, it doesn't make any difference, right, when I plug them in. One, you're going to be screwed this week or next, right?
Right.
Or the week before.
What did you say before?
But again, people are done.
Athletics, we don't play. Are we done for today?
No, we're just working on this one on our own.
Because they don't have time or.
77 is going to go at 21, right? Because AB goes with F. Good. And then we know that this BC should go with E. Yeah, so it's going to go with 30. Yeah, good setup.
Hey, so wash it.
Well, sometimes you can, right?
This one set up?
No.
Sometimes you
Set
can't
up number
simplify.
18.
So you're just going to have to go over the 30.
Why is there two X's?
Yep, 77 times 30 divided by 12.
Two
Okay.
ratios.
It's gross.
This over this, like he's got 70 over 50. Why 12?
Oh, my God.
21. Sorry, I read your thing backwards. I just want you guys to set it up for now. If you can solve it, that's great, but I just want to see you guys set it up.
I'm pretty sure it is.
There's two X's. I don't like
That's
this.
what I got by.
77 goes with 21 because AB goes with FE. Perfect. And BC should go with ED. Very good. Yep, that's good. So we're going to multiply by 30 over here, which is going to be gross, right? Ooh, nice. Okay, so this isn't going to be the right answer for that. Wait, oh, hold on. This is what you did. No, that's fine. You did calculate this. It's fine. You just got to divide it by 21.
Oh.
And then you got to do that. So,
Yeah. So, 12.
yep, so this over 21. Now this is, make sure you do your math right here. I'll just borrow this. 30 times 77. Yeah, so 30 times 77 and divided by 21. Maybe you did divide by 21.
Yeah,
So
I did.
I think you just typed it in incorrectly.
Yeah.
So 1617 is what we have here. And then you're going to go solve for x. I don't know what the 110 from. Right? Then you can subtract 11 and divide by 11.
Okay.
Oh, you know the answer key. That's right. You do. It's just not the same page. I'm working on the answer key. 9.
Oh, I did it right. Okay, 77.
So it's 146. Or I did.
80
So
goes
we got
with
this.
what?
You subtract 11,
Yeah,
right?
E.
Which is 1616. And then you divide by 11. Which is 161.
Good.
Sorry. 1616 divided by 11.
And if you don't like
Ugh.
this reducing, I mean, you want to move the cross.
Did I type it incorrectly?
And divide and work it out
Well,
that
I
way.
think you calculated it. I never type it in.
That's fine too. Whichever way is easiest for you
So we got
guys.
77.
Because you will be allowed to use
77 times 30 divided by 20. 110. Yeah, I don't know what I said. So by a calculator. So it's 110, then you're gonna subtract 11 and divide by 11, but I'll do it up here, okay?
So 110 equals 11 on the calculator.
Were we supposed to get X over something?
Nope,
X over something?
should be 9. Well, let's do the setup first. So the setup for this one, we know AB should go with FE. So AB 77, right?
So it's 99.
I don't have a 9 there. I'm so confused.
You shouldn't. This is the answer key. Don't worry about it. 77 is AB. FE is 21, so they go together, right? CB, right, should go with ED, because they're both second and third here. So CB is 11x plus 11, and ED is 30. So did everybody set it up like that? Yeah? We understand why that setup is that way? Right, I matched up my letters. So now what I'm going to do, I can't simplify 77 over 21, at least as far as I'm aware. Both divisible by 3? No. Wait, yes. They are both divisible by 3. So if you wanted to simplify this, you could divide both by 3, or by 7, I guess. I don't know why I didn't see that.
7 is faster. The bigger number.
So if you divide by 7, you get 11 over 3. Right? If you didn't simplify, that's okay. It's just going to require more work. Simplifying is going to make it easier for you. Now I'm going to multiply by 30, right? So I get 30 times 11 over 3. And when we have something like this, like Maddie figured out, yeah, you multiply by the top number, divide by the bottom, right? Doesn't matter which order you do. What's 30 divided by 3? Let's do that first. 10, right? What's 10 times 11? 11 with a 0 in the end, right? Now you know how to solve a problem like this. Subtract the 11, we get 99. And then you divide by 11 to separate from the x, right? So 9 is x. And again, if you want to know how long CB was, you just need to know what 11x plus 11 equals, right? 10. 1/10. If you solve the simplification here, did you do okay? If you did like Maddie did with the calculator and had me type in and stuff too, chances are to make mistakes. That's what I did. I suck at typing stuff into a calculator.
I was looking at,
Especially on the iPhone because I can't feel the buttons when I press them. Hmm?
I was looking at the other problem, that's why I was confused. I was looking at ST and then CD.
My dude. Let's do 20 and then we'll go back and hit 19. Set up 20 on your own.
UVW, triangle UVW.
UVW, similar to
UST.
UST. So that's 20. I'll copy it down on a separate sheet of paper. UVW, UST. Appreciate you guys' effort today. You're doing really well. Mom and Dad look at the grades over the weekend, or what happened? No comment. All right, fair enough.
My mom loves my grading app
Yeah.
because of the quiz.
Oh, I'm looking at 19. How do that?
The thing about my class, good news and bad news, one quiz can tank your grade. Good news is one quiz can really boost it. If you're feeling like things are lost, it's not. One quiz can really change the game. Maddie's a great example of that. She fixed one quiz and her grade's so much better. Doc, same thing with you once I plug it in.
Right.
The other bad news with my class is you're allowed. Good news and bad news, you're allowed to retake them. The bad news is when you retake them, man, I got a pile of quizzes I got to plug in.
Can I go over the second quiz
Yeah.
homework?
You're doing really well, man.
Well, I forgot to do some more Nancy Pelosi.
Hoping you did that forget.
I hope you guys realize nobody likes Nancy Pelosi. No one. Not even Democrats. I hope you know that.
Oh, I know that.
Right? Nobody does.
I especially hate it.
Chuck Schumer? No, not fans. Not fans.
I like the, I have a meme that I made that Nancy Pelosi's married to Brandon.
Dude,
Wow.
I
That's
would-
top-notch comedy right here.
Hey, did you see the Morrison meme page? They got you on there. Dead serious about you being an FFA president,
Are you the FFA president?
me?
the vice president.
Who's meaning about me?
Have some, we don't know who it is.
Somebody's getting the swift kick at the keys for.
All right, so let's match these up. Looks like VW, VDub, should go with ST, right? So 88 is going to go with 24. And UV, that's 5x plus 5x plus 11, should go with US, 18. Now, if you ever get in a situation where your x is on the bottom, right? I wrote mine out very carefully to make sure my x ended up on top. If your x ever ends up on the bottom, just flip them both, right? As long as you do it to both sides, it's algebra, right? So that's the setup. How do we feel about the setup? Good? All right, let's reduce. What number do 88 and 24 both have in common that we can pull out? Hmm? Oh. 88 over 24. How do I reduce it? Eads.
Steve, fam,
Reduce it.
it's half of what it is.
Try again. Half is 44 if you're thinking halves.
24 goes
What are the
negative
factors of 88?
Come on.
11,
And
8.
8, yeah.
8 going to 24?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. How many times?
3.
3. Yep. So we get 11 over 3.
I usually pull out a calculator.
You got it.
I know, but you're not going to be able to do that on a quiz.
That's what he thinks.
I only got one.
I'm going to have Miss Bechtel sit back there the entire time next to you.
Is that one blurry too? Here,
Yes.
watch this. Blurry.
It's blurry.
How do we solve a problem like Maria? Multiply by 18, right? What is 18 divided by 3? Times 11?
66.
So 11 thirds of 18 is 66. And you look like a genius. You did that in your head.
Wait, what you?
This particular problem set really loves 11s. We're going to subtract 11 to get 55. And what is 55 divided by 5?
Same with the one I just said,
Yeah,
I thought
cheese puff one.
doing several ones is just easy.
Yeah, I love 11s. Oh, I'm sorry. Here.
You like that one?
19, same dumb stuff. The only thing that makes these guys harder is that there's one big triangle. So you have to be careful matching up your letters, right? So before I let you go, Ms. Bechtel, would you like to give us the similarity statement for number 19?
Triangle JUT is similar to triangle JK.
JKL. That's right.
Hey, do you want to see one of these?
I don't want to see anything, no.
Maddie, you want like?
I'll leave that one for you guys to do for homework, okay? Make sure you do that one. We'll turn that in at the end of the week.
That's just one problem.
Oh, the whole thing will turn in, but yeah.
No, it's not about Nancy Pelosi.
Maddie, did you
They got-
see the one
they got
that
help
was
you.
dumped
Right here.
The one where I was working on it?
It'd be cooler if I made it.
That's right.
Yeah, but I'm gonna, like, if you miss it, I'm gonna scoop it up like a
Send me
rebound.
your logo
Oh,
too.
my logo.
Shoot it.
Right here.
I usually just don't take a bunch of pictures when I'm working.
That was.
Sorry, Ava.
I should start taking selfies.
Ava, if he hits you, it's all bets are off. You can do anything. It's legal.
Yes.
Self-defense.
Dude,
That's
you
how-
ever
that's how it
see
works
my
in here.
mom's
Whoa.
place? This is a
Yeah,
little-
I got it.
okay, good. No, do you have any pictures of
Can I go
your
put my
chickens?
stuff away?
Go.
I go take a selfie with my rooster.
You should, because
Do it.
that's
Roy.
what, that's kind of what I need.
You need the animal.
Take yourself
Yeah.
with Roy.
Well, remind me when it's later.
Love it.
What'd you say?
Cowtown. Love it.